you don't know who I am, Rita Hickman, and I am a women's narcissist recovery coach. I help women who maybe have spent their entire lives being in relationships with people who were insensitive or thoughtless or didn't understand how sensitive you as an empath were, or how intelligent or intuitive, or how you felt. And because of how you were raised, because of the family traditions that were passed down family member to family member over the generations, many women who watch these videos were taught to take all those emotions, all that sensitivity, which the world really needs right now, and to shove it down and to put it someplace else in our body. You know what happens when you do that? You start to get sick. You find that you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s in relationships that don't fulfill you, that don't make you excited about life, and you feel like maybe you'll never be able to find the happiness that you always wanted to find with someone else, that this is where you're at, this is where you're always going to be, and that you're stuck and helpless. Well, you're in the right place, because if you deal with having narcissists in your life, then I help women understand how to change all those dynamics, whether it be inside themselves or whether it be in the relationships outside of them. And it all starts with you. And it all starts with one of my favorite words, which almost everybody else hates, and I used to hate, which is boundaries. You know, have you ever said boundaries to somebody who's more narcissistic and they flip out and they have, you know, an episode, or they have a melodramatic reaction to it? Well, almost everybody feels that way about boundaries. Almost everybody feels as if, what does this mean? What's going on? Especially for the people that need to set them. You, the empath, possibly the codependent, the one with the sensitive nervous system, who's really a gift to the world, almost like a butterfly would be, rather than filling in and being like everybody else. You have a sensitivity, you have a caring, you have a nurturing that most other people don't have. And because of that, it's easy for the rest of the world to not tune in to the fact that you have certain needs. And your needs include a lot of self-care, a lot of protection of your own energy, how you are living life and how you go through your day. And it also means something like boundaries. So when somebody says boundaries, one of the main things I think about is, oh my God, what's happening here? And usually it hasn't been someone setting boundaries with me, although it's super scary when they do. But it's gotten more of me setting boundaries with other people. And it's because I shifted, I changed, I looked at boundaries from a way different and healthier perspective. So, rule number one about boundaries: they are not about the other person. Boundaries aren't about stopping someone else from being their self, from expressing their emotions, from being authentic with how they feel. Boundaries aren't about stopping someone from doing anything. Boundaries are really about you respecting you and making sure that you get the experiences that you want to have, and not experiences of hurt or anger or frustration or overwhelm. You get to choose the kind of experience that you have in your life. As an adult woman, you get lots of choices as to how you want to live your life, even if you don't think you do, even if you don't think you can. And for me, the thing that got in the way almost all the time was how scared I would get. I would feel helpless that I had to do whatever someone told me to do, because otherwise the world would come to an end. And many people who have higher narcissistic qualities, they have mental health things going on, higher levels of stress, they're ADD, ADHD, maybe bipolar, or even just people in the world who don't know how to manage their own emotions. What would tend to happen is I would get railroaded. I would get run over by trucks, you know, emotionally and energetically, because people didn't understand, one, that I needed a lot more compassion, a lot more sensitivity, a lot more kindness, and that my system couldn't handle it. When I get overwhelmed, and maybe this happens to you, when I get overwhelmed, my stomach gets upset and I can't eat. When I get overwhelmed, my digestive system locks up and maybe there's explosive ickiness everywhere, you know, or maybe nothing's moving. When I get triggered or overwhelmed, my throat closes up and I can't talk, and my heart beats faster. And maybe the back of my head tenses up and my shoulders tense up, and I'd get headaches, I'd get migraines. My allergies would start to increase, and I had lots of allergies as a kid. So physically, many empathic women, compassionate women, codependent women who have highly sensitive nervous systems like you and me, what happens is we don't know how to set boundaries. And so we're the ones who end up getting ripped apart. And you know what? The world does not need you to be ripped apart. So how do you set a boundary? What does it look like? How should you start? It starts with you kind of deciding how you want to feel and how you don't want to feel. You know, you have to get tired of having the experience that you're having. You have to get tired of feeling overwhelmed and tired and exhausted and in pain and like you're suffering. You have to realize that you want something different. And that's actually one of the most important steps. When you want something different, that's when you can start to make really great changes in your life. So I used to think, you know, okay, I'll set a boundary and I'll tell someone, you need to stop doing that. And then they would keep doing it. And then I'd say louder, you need to stop doing that. And they would keep doing it. And they might even do it worse. And they might even have even more fun because it upset me, because it bothered me, because it churned me up. They might even find glee and enjoyment by making me uncomfortable. Someone who's sensitive, someone who's empathic. There's a lot of people out there. It makes them feel better in order to watch someone else express their emotions. So you being an empath, you tend to feel everybody's emotions around you. And being sensitive, it means that you're stressed out about it and you need to express it in some way. Empaths tend to be the ones who are expressing the emotions or feeling the emotions of people around them who cannot feel or won't feel their own emotions, their own body, what's going on. And so they don't even realize that they're a nuclear reactor and we're getting the fallout. So boundaries are really important if you want to survive and if you want to have a good life, because most of the people around you won't really understand how sensitive you are. They won't understand that you need more. They won't understand that that what might be okay in a fight with somebody else just is not okay with you. Just does not work, because maybe it makes you throw up. Maybe it makes you pee yourself. Maybe it makes you debilitated and stay in bed. That's what would happen to me, all of those things. Boundaries are about you deciding the experience you want to have and then making sure you have it. So every time I would say to someone who was upsetting me or hurting me, you need to stop that. And then they wouldn't stop, and I'd think, you don't like me, you don't love me, you don't respect me. And many times it was just they were so absorbed in their own experience, in their own life, in their own ideas, that your boundaries didn't matter to them because they couldn't see, what does it have to do with me? And that's really a lot of the mindset that people have. You know, what's in it for me? And because you getting upset, what was in it for them is having a lot of fun at your expense or expressing themselves at your expense. It becomes up to you to learn how to protect yourself. So when I set a boundary, I decide, okay, I don't like this experience anymore. I don't like it when someone swears at me. I don't like feeling intimidated. I don't like feeling scared. I don't like feeling overwhelmed or contracted or stressed down. I don't like feeling submissive. I don't like those feelings. And because I don't like feeling that way, and I can't stop the people around me from either from ignorance or their own overwhelm or their own stress or their own maliciousness. So I can't control that. And because I can't control that, what do I have control over? I have control over me. And so I decide, I'll give a good example. If someone swears at you and you don't want them to swear at you, you say to yourself, you know what? I don't want people to swear at me. I don't like that. And then the next time someone swears at you, you say, you know what? I don't like it when people swear at me, and I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. And the person may think you're joking. They may think you're just having some mood swing. Maybe you're PMSing. Maybe something else is going on, and they kind of blow it off. But the important thing is that you said it. You drew the line. So now that you've drawn the line, now that you've said, you know what, I don't like it when people swear at me and I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. You have set the rule. That's the boundary. And then the next time they swear at you, and it will almost always happen, the next time they swear at you, you say, I'm not tolerating being sworn at, and this is what I'm going to do. And then you do it. Maybe it's stop talking to them. Maybe it's go for a drive. Maybe it's lock the door. Maybe it's blocking them, text or email or messages to protect yourself. Maybe it's finding someone who's got your back and can support you and be with you while you're doing the hard things. Either way, it's not about stopping someone else from their behavior. It's not about trying to make them change. It's not about trying to control them, because you know what? That's way bigger than you. You're never, ever, ever going to be able to do that. But what you can do is say, I respect and love myself enough that I'm not going to let myself feel this way. I'm not going to let myself feel intimidated or anxious or hurt, and I'm going to do something about it. And then, since you've set the boundary twice, they swore at you a second time, and you said, all right, I told you I don't like being sworn at, and this is what I need to do to protect myself. When I feel safe, remember that's the key. When I feel safe, that's when I'll come back. That's when maybe we can have a discussion. But as long as I don't feel safe, I'm not engaging in this. Sorry if it upsets you. And then you accept that. You accept the fact that you are setting a boundary for yourself. It's you advocating for yourself. It's you respecting and protecting yourself. And usually the consequence isn't something like, well, I'm going to go key your car. The consequence is, I'm going to go do something that makes me feel good, that makes me feel grounded and balanced, and get back into a safe place. And when I do, I'll come back. So it's not about finding some sort of revenge for someone treating you the way you don't want to be treated. It's about deciding you don't want to be treated that way anymore, and then setting the line and doing something about it. So this is true in a wide variety of things. Let's say you don't like it when you come home and you feel like you have to walk on eggshells around the house. It's not about the other person. It's not about how angry they are, or anxious they are, or upset they are. It's you not wanting to walk into a house that doesn't feel safe to you. And then you decide, what do I need to do so I feel safe? What do I need to do so I protect myself? And what happens when you start looking to respect yourself, when you start loving yourself more than you love the other person, when you stop trying to control them, and when you actually hold them in a place of wanting the best for them, when you consistently want the best for somebody else while still protecting yourself, that's boundaries. Boundaries are when you say, I don't want this experience anymore. It's like a rule for yourself. It's a rule that says, I am not willing to tolerate this anymore in my life. And you don't have to be mean, and you don't have to get upset. In fact, strong boundaries are the best way we can love somebody else. Brene Brown always says that the most compassionate, kind women that she knows are the ones who have the strongest boundaries. And all of the women I work with will tell you the same thing. Tough love is still love. Because as an empath, you have rights. You have a sensitivity. You have an awareness of the world. It's just how you're built. It's just how you're made. And you have not been taught to respect that. And because you weren't taught to respect that, you don't respect it, and neither does anybody else. But when you start putting in place the life that you want to have, not the life that somebody else wants you to have, you find that things start to change. Because now you're no longer tolerating bad behavior. And if someone wants to engage with you, they need to engage differently. If they want you around, they have to be nice to you. If they want to have a conversation with you, they actually have to have a normal conversation. And you get to decide what a normal conversation is, not them. You get to decide what's right for you, not what's right for them. If you try to change a situation by changing somebody else, you're going to feel overwhelmed, angry, anxious, frustrated, hurt, betrayed, manipulated. You're going to feel terrible. That's what it's like to be in a relationship with a narcissist. But when you start to respect yourself and what you want as an empath with your sensitivities, how you need to be communicated to, and you start standing up for that, then the people who want to stay will stay. And the people who aren't meant to stay, they don't want that kind of a relationship, then they'll go. And it's okay, because you are no longer in that drama. Can you imagine what it would be like if you no longer were in that drama, if you were out of that drama, even if you were still married, even if you still lived with them? What if you didn't have to live with that drama, with that anxiety, with that overwhelm anymore? And you don't have to with boundaries, because it's not about the other person. It's about you and what you want and how you want to live your life. Because as an empath, you're going to be one of the nicest people on the planet, because you feel what other people are feeling, and it's super uncomfortable. So you feel when people are hurt and angry and frustrated. And many times you want to fix it because it makes you feel better. In reality, they have their lesson and you have yours. You don't need to fix it. You just need to take care of you and your needs. And when you take care of you and your needs, your life starts to change. And the people who are meant to be there will stay, and the people that are meant to fall away will fall away. And the opportunities that will move you forward and make your life better will show up. Because now you're not wasting energy being freaked out and stressed out all the time, because you're protecting yourself and helping yourself be the best version of you that you can be. So the next time you are tired or frustrated or overwhelmed by how somebody's treating you, I want you to think, do I like this? Do I want this? Is this the experience that I want to have? And if it's not the experience you want to have, start deciding that you're not going to have that experience. And even if you don't tell the other person, you still get to respect yourself. But it's nice when you say, you know what, I'm not tolerating this anymore. And then there's an action that goes along with it. Usually something nurturing for you. A walk, a drive, go get some good chocolate, talking to a friend. That's what it's about. So when you're overwhelmed and stressed, set your boundary and then do something that makes you feel good. Now, we're going to be practicing this the first week in December, right between Thanksgiving and Christmas, to get ready for Christmas. We're going to do a 7-day challenge. I'm going to have like 42 different speakers, keynotes every day, different area of your life: wealth, spirituality, intuition, health, relationships, your home. Every day is going to be a different day, and every day will have 6 topics that cover the body, the mind, the emotions, your environment, your relationships, and your ideas. Be merry, my friend. Eben Pagan coined this term, be merry. And so there'll be 6 different small mini workshops every day that you can pick and choose from, that you can say, yeah, essential oil sounds interesting. Yeah, astrology sounds interesting. Yeah, crystals sounds interesting. Yeah, intuition sounds interesting. All of those things, you can pick and choose what interests you the most, and then every night we're going to integrate it, and we're going to get rid of the triggers and the emotions around it, so you can take a really positive next step. You will be in the best place for Christmas than you've ever been when you join our challenge. So, all right, I'm looking forward to seeing you again on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Keep your eyes out for the challenge. I've been gathering the coaches and the speakers who are going to be there, and they are brilliant. Brilliant people in wealth, in relationships, in health, in intuition, all of it. And we are going to get you completely tuned up all together. We're going to do it together and get you into a good space, so your holiday and your new year can be awesome. Okay, have a great rest of your day. Love you much, and I'll talk to you later. Okay? Bye!